All right now.
Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
live.
They want it. They wanted it.
Yeah, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. Go get it.
That's a different tier right there, baby.
Yeah, we're not having a snowball fight.
Three. No one's ever got three. I want that because I can back.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. Touchdown, Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Let's go! Do it live! You gotta fight for your right to fight!
It'll get handled when it gets handled.
Let's go.
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would, real quick, if you wouldn't mind before you forget, make sure you click and tap that like and click and tap that subscribe button. Maybe tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a Chiefs fan, help spread the word. We sure appreciate it. We got a good show lined up for y'all tonight. We're back after a couple weeks off here.
We're back.
Lots of news, lots of things to talk about. The NFL train never stops at the station for long, man. That thing just keeps on rolling. So we got guys coming. We got guys going. The NFL's gone crazy, spending money like it's going out of style. We're going to talk about it all. Really appreciate everybody joining us in here. Looks like we got Big Doug in here. I'm sure Laney and them will be checking in. I think Janet said she was going to be checking in. So
it's off season. I'm sure they'll slowly come in. They'll trickle in tonight.
Right. And hopefully we see maybe Maria, Kevin. You can usually count on Kevin to show up in here. So, fellas, before we get into the show, it's been a couple weeks. Nick, how you doing, man?
Yeah, spring has landed in Kansas City, so I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you, Scotty?
You had to say it, didn't you? You just got to fucking jinx it. It'll be 30
snow tomorrow.
degrees and snowing this weekend now. Appreciate it. Looks like we got Nate checking in on X. Good to see you. Thanks for swinging by. Bo, how you been doing, man? You're out there in Utah, is that right?
Yeah, just been traveling, man, dude. It's been about 2 weeks in Japan, a couple of weeks in New Mexico. Now I'm here in Utah, here for good now for like 3 or 4 months at least. So done with airports for the interim. It's funny you were talking about the KC train, dude. It spent a lot of time in Japan. You ride a lot of trains, and they are efficient. And that was a good analogy, man. I like it. No, but I'm doing good. Good to see you guys. It's been a minute.
Yeah, always good to see you guys. Yeah, I took a couple weeks off. We're back. I mean, we weren't going away. We show's over. We lost the Super Bowl. Fucking done.
Man. Oh man.
I was bummed out for a week or two, pretty bad after it. But like I said, man, the NFL, that show just keeps going right on down the road, man. So, Chiefs shake up the roster so far early in the off season. I mean, if someone can explain to me what the difference between legal tampering and NFL free agency is, I'd like to get that explanation. But there's Maria. We were just talking about Maria. She show up in here. Good to see you. I mean, first, I think we got to talk about Joe Thuney, right? That's probably the most significant move so far. The Chiefs trade last year's team MVP, left guard, played some left tackle. He gets the Chiefs, as voted on by the players, most valuable player award, and then gets traded to the Bears. So the NFL, man, it's ruthless, dude. It's cutthroat. You start getting into those 30s, and that cap number starts creeping up. And thanks for all the service and the Super Bowl and playing left tackle and being the break glass in case of emergency guy. But you're going to the Bears now. Nick, Joe Thuney, what do you think about the trade sending him to Chicago?
Yeah, look, I think that they're just looking at what they needed this offseason, and his number just didn't fit, right? And it's the last year of his deal, so they were like, let's see what we can get. for him, and we know that we've got other needs that are like outweigh having a solid guard position. So, thank you for your service, Joe Tooney. You'll always be welcome in Chiefs Kingdom. We love everything that you did for us. That was a hell of a thing he did, switching positions there and getting us to the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Super Bowl, the offensive line was a big problem. It wasn't just Joe Tooney's fault, but yeah, dude, he's gonna be missed. But the show must go on. So
John C. and Carol V are in the house. Good to see you.
Welcome.
Maybe we'll see John V coming in after them.
Get all the Johns in tonight.
Bo, what do you think about the trade to the Bears?
Every year there's a couple trades that just like flabbergast me. When we were talking 2-3 weeks ago about like what we like to see when we talk about some retooling of the O-line, that is not what I had in mind whatsoever. Yeah, dude, those interior three, I mean, there was not a lot of bad things you could say about those guys. I mean, they were pretty stellar all year. Nick mentioned having Joe Tooney move out to the outside even when we needed him. I just didn't see that happening whatsoever. But dude, in Veach we trust. He always does something like this where you're like, what? There's another trade we'll talk about. I mean, Justin Reed's gone now, but we'll get into that later. There's just a couple that like you're just like, huh? What? No, let's keep them all in. But you got to understand, you got to make room for bigger and better, right? We have a bunch of depth in that position now, I guess. But I'm sorry, I was thinking Justin Reed, not the O-line. Back to Tooney. That's one where I was like, we need more depth. I'm surprised we got rid of guys. I thought we'd just bring guys on rather than get rid of them. But yeah, show must go on.
Yeah, Joe Tooney, phenomenal player. I mean, the guy is definitely Chiefs Ring of Honor, right? Hall of Fame guy at some point in his career. What he did, he's looking like he could be on track to be an NFL Hall of Famer. He came in here and was an Iron Man on top of being just a really damn good player. You could always count on that dude to be in the lineup, whether it was a guard or even out there at tackle. The guy missed next to no time with the team and played at a damn high level. You can't get much better than that. You can't ask much more from an NFL football player than what Joe Tooney gave the Chiefs. Earned every penny. It's just when you get to this point, the Chiefs have shown the last few years, unless it's a superstar offensive player or a guy like Chris Jones, a transcendent player, right? They are going to try and get out a year early than a year late on a guy. And when you look at the cap number and you look at the age and you realize this is his last year of his deal, you probably don't want to extend him. Look, I know a future 4th or 5th rounder doesn't sound like much. I know John C. doesn't sound like he really likes to pick that much, but the Chiefs have drafted well. They've gotten guys in the 4th and 5th round that have been damn good football players. You could always use that to package and move up a year down the road. So you're just getting something for a guy that you would have gotten nothing from if you let him walk after this year. Creates cap space and gives you a chance to get a little bit younger.
We were in like some cap hell, weren't we? Weren't we like minus 16 or 18 million or something like that? And then they did a bunch of restructuring. But yeah.
They were up against it, and guys leaving that were here on big deals certainly helps that. So, best of luck. He's going to Ron's Bears. Bears
Coach
taking
Ron.
Coach Ron.
He'll take it.
Bears taking a page out of the Saints playbook, which we'll get to them. They've signed another former Chiefs player.
Another one.
So another one. That's like talking about the Raiders being Arrowhead West, right? Man, that Mercedes-Benz Dome, I guess it wasn't in the Super Bowl. They'd call it Arrowhead South with all the guys that have left and gone down there. But
right.
Nothing but like gratitude and best wishes. Good luck, there in Chicago and the NFC. Hopefully can take a team that's added a lot of pieces and got some young talent, right? Bring a veteran guy in, a good locker room guy like that. That could be a solid move for the Bears.
Do you guys think he commended more than just a future 5th round pick?
Just with his age and his cap number,
right,
and the fact that he's going to be a free agent after the end of the year, you would have got nothing, right? I mean, so I would like to have gotten a 4th, but that obviously wasn't out there on the table. I don't think. Nick, 5th-round pick. I mean, is that good enough for you?
Yeah, the market's the market, right? I mean, obviously, you'd like to get as much as you can for a player. And when you say, "Hey, we got a 4th-round pick," we're like, "Oh, that doesn't seem like a lot." And they're like, "Yeah, and it's next year, not this year." It seems like even less, but all the things that you pointed out, and then just the fact that, okay, so what are our priorities, right? I mean, we've got another guard that we are looking at franchise tagging. We've got to sign a left tackle. You know, it just sometimes you just gotta maybe take a deal that you wish was better. But I mean, it's like you said, it's better than getting nothing for him, right? So paying him, the out the contract and getting no pick for him. This opens up some of the cap space for some of the other signings that I'm sure we'll talk about. So yeah, it's just the markets. I mean, it's not like there's a team that was offering more and then they decided to trade to the Bears. So that's what they could get, unfortunately.
Yeah. Bo, I mean, you think they should have gotten better than that, or are you happy with that, or you?
Nick just pointed out something I wasn't even thinking about. It's better than nothing, right? I kind of wasn't even thinking that. I'm thinking well, maybe we should have gotten more, but it's definitely better than nothing. Kind of like you said, forward thinking with his last year and everything like that. And it's hard to be that forward thinking that far down along the road when it comes to stuff like this, especially when our last sighting of an O-line was like, God, we need to improve this and get exterior help, right? Keep the interior seems solid, and it to me, priority number one seemed like let's protect Patrick, let's build up something around him. And like I said, I didn't expect that going, but no, yeah, better than nothing. I guess, yeah, it's just hard to see. I'll enjoy it next year when we have all those picks coming to fruition. That's for sure.
Right, it's like the Jarius Sneed thing, right? You see what they get for him, and maybe he's a little bit different because he's younger and not as far along in his career. But sometimes you just take what you can get, right? And that's a good point. So better to get something than, I mean, you would have got a year out of him if you would have let him play. So it's not like you would have got nothing, right? I mean, you're figuring after this year.
Yeah.
When you match that up and put it in combination with the cap relief, because when you trade them, the Bears take that number, right? It's not like you cut somebody and you got the dead cap room you got to worry about or whatever. So not a bad deal. I hate to see the guy go, but like I said, nothing but thanks and gratitude to that man and what he did with the Chiefs, and best wishes there in Chicago. Chiefs, another move on the offensive line, franchise tagging right guard. Boy, I can't think of his name there.
Trey Smith.
Trey Smith. There you go. Trey Smith. Chiefs are hopeful to get a long-term deal done with him. Some of these contracts that are getting handed out to guys, though, are making that tougher and tougher by the day. Bo, do you think Trey Smith plays on the franchise tag this year? Do you worry about a holdout if they can't get an extension done? Do you think they get the extension done? What do you think is most likely to happen?
Everything I've read and reading is that they've been in talks. They have a really good relationship with Chiefs management, and they got that franchise deal done without any hassle. We've seen guys before kind of, hold out and kind of wait to see what weigh their options, maybe use it as trading leverage or contract leverage. But no, he signed it right away. I think he's stoked to be there. I think we definitely see him play on that contract for sure.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. It's again, I just surprised at some of the moves they made, and yeah, this is also another one of them. Just like, okay, extending that. I think it makes him the highest paid position in that, or the highest paid player in that position, correct? Franchise tag.
If they
it's like it's the equivalent of the top 4
average,
or something like that.
It's the average of the top 5 contracts at that position.
5, yeah,
but
okay. So
if he gets an extension, he's going to be up there, if not the top paid guy. I mean, he'll be in top 2, right? If he's not top 1. So, to me, it's kind of like a mixed bag. We watched what happened when you get in the Super Bowl and you can't protect Patrick Mahomes. And we talked about the offensive line's got to be the priority. And then you see Trey Smith franchise tag, and you're looking at the amount of money it might be per year to keep him. And you're like, man, it's a lot of money for a guard. But I like keeping the guy here, keeping some continuity on that line, especially with them moving on from Joe Tooney, getting a new left tackle. You're keeping at least that center right guard combo with Juwan Taylor out there at right tackle intact, which, you always hear offensive line coaches and offensive linemen say gelling and getting games and snaps together is key. So we factor that in. Protecting Patrick is priority number one, especially after we saw what happened in the Super Bowl. So, Nick, what do you think about Trey Smith and the extension? Does he play on the tag, or what do you see happening with him? And do you like the move if they do sign him long term?
Look, I think that he's earned, he's earned a good contract. I was surprised that the number the Chiefs were willing to pay him to franchise tag him. So I think that what we've seen is that, these contracts with the Chiefs can kind of drag out, unfortunately. So I don't feel confident saying, oh, they're definitely going to get a deal done before the season starts. I'm sure that if Trey Smith can get it done, he would prefer to do that because, although he's making a lot of money this year, there's no guarantees if there's anything that happens to him, right? So that's the Chiefs bargaining position is that, hey, look,
that guaranteed
your knee pops and, you could be looking at making a lot less money. So I don't know. I mean, I would say that it'll probably play through. I mean, I don't think the Chiefs I just don't think they have the money to be paying somebody that top dollar long term at that position for a guard, right? And so I would be surprised if they're able to work it out before the season gets started. But I've been like what's that, Jim Cramer of like the Chiefs stuff. So like just go with everything opposite that I've said because like last like year,
well they
everything
did
I've said opposites
too,
happened
right?
like the next day. So
They re-signed Caliendo too, right, for a backup guard. So
yeah,
he's still in there.
Yeah, keeping him on the team and in the mix. He stepped up when Joe Tooney went out to tackle. So, look, the Chiefs were able to carry Joe Tooney at a pretty high average per year salary when they brought him in free agency at left guard. So it can be done. It makes things trickier. I see Big Doug's talking about Trey Smith. I know people were critical of the line. Depending on what grading site you look at, the Chiefs' interior line was the best, or it was just average, or somewhere in between. PFF is one of the weirdest sites to me. Like sometimes you see them grade guys and it's like spot on, right? Oh yeah, that guy's definitely the best at his position, that guy. And then some of the grades you see on that website and you're like, dude, how do they have that guy graded that high or that low?
Right.
It can definitely be a head scratcher, their grading system for sure. But I think Trey Smith is pretty well viewed around the league as a solid guy. I don't know if you want to call him the best right guard in the NFL. People would probably be open to debate on that. But I keep going back to protecting Patrick. And I don't know. Like, do you think maybe – I'm not saying he's going to take like a hometown discount and play for pennies on the dollar, but he likes being here. His best friend is Creed Humphrey, who's playing right next to him there at center. I mean, do you think you see a little bit of a hometown, we drafted you, play for more rings and play with your buddy here on that contract, Bo? Or do you think he goes full out for the payday?
I would like to think that, right? I like to think that most players would like to kind of take one for the team and maybe take a little less money or maybe not go with like the craziest negotiating tactics just so that they can get on a team that's winning and like be a part of this dynastic run that we're a part of. Am I mistaken? I thought I saw him say that he signed it and that he was for sure doing it. Am I missing something?
No, he signed the franchise tag. I'm just wondering if we're just talking about like, do they get a deal done before the season or does he play on the tag is kind of what we were talking about.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's what I was getting to. I think he signs it pretty quickly or gets it done right away. I think he plays on the franchise. I don't think there's any qualm with that. Then like if he has another stellar year, then he'll just have a bigger bargaining chip to either go somewhere else or come in more money. So,
yeah. It'd be interesting to see what the Chiefs do there and see how he plays this year and whether they can get an extension done or if he plays on that tag. I could see him taking a little bit less money, but look, dude, like you got to go get paid when you can get paid. This is his second contract. That's usually where guys make the big money is that second contract. You start getting a little bit older. Some guys get a big payday on third contract, but that's a really, really elite level player right at that point. Probably usually at a position that is a little bit more premium, like a skill position player. You see wide receiver or like a defensive end, edge rusher, quarterback type player, something like that. So, but hey, man, the guy's gonna make $24 million at least minimum this year. So, Trey Smith,
I'll take half of that in cash.
Yeah, right. Getting he's getting the bag, and he might get the bigger bag. We'll see how that goes. But talk about a guy that got the bag on the defense. Talking about guys kind of flip-flopping. It seems like talking about guys coming and going, coming and going. Tershawn Wharton, defensive tackle, gets paid big-time money
Another one
by
that
the
hurts.
Carolina Panthers. Nick, Tershawn Wharton, good player, had a solid last year. That's the way you do it, man. You get in that last year, that contract year. That's
Contract
the time
year's
to have
undefeated, right?
your best year. How much do you hate to see that guy go? And do you think maybe the Panthers reached a little bit paying a guy that much money?
Look, I think that they are in a position where they have the cap space. I think that, Tershawn Wharton's an underrated player on the defense. The Chiefs obviously didn't have that kind of money to offer for him, but I think that you look at with a rookie quarterback contract, and an ascending quarterback, right, on the Panthers, it's looking like Bryce Young, right? He had a good second half of the season. Looks like he might be what they thought he was going to be, and so they're looking to shore up the defense. I mean,
their defense was terrible.
Yeah, their defense was terrible.
Bad.
In Tershawn Wharton was a guy that, not only was he good with the run, but he's in there and getting sacks. He had some pretty big sacks. Yeah, for the Chiefs, and so dude, super happy for him, right? I probably a little bit of a reach, but I just think that as I get older, like, these contracts are just going to look crazier and crazier.
Right.
I mean, I just saw that Josh Allen's contract was like $300 million and 240 or 260 guaranteed or whatever. And it's just like, didn't seem like that long ago to me that, Aaron Rodgers was getting like $100 million with the Packers and everybody.
Oh my God.
I remember when Romo broke the internet getting like 60 million, right?
Yeah.
Everybody couldn't believe it.
Now that's like a year, right? Like, oh, I get 60 million a year. So I think it's a little bit of a reach, but they have the cap space to do it on that team. So
yeah, Bo Tershawn Wharton. I mean, he was a good player for the Chiefs this last year.
Turk, yeah.
Dude came in an undrafted free agent, right, and cashes in. That's that's as good as you can get from an NFL player standpoint. How do you think he does out there in Carolina? And did they overpay him, or is that just what you got to do these days? I mean, you see some of these contracts, right?
I mean, you're commending somebody that's been to the Super Bowl a couple times, or you're trying to bring them in. Like, you got to pay somebody that has that kind of accolades behind them.
Right. Sure.
Are they overpay him? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell with our defense. We have so many studs out there. You don't know, like, did he do well because he did well, or because two other guys had to focus on Chris Jones or George Karlaftis or something? I mean, there was a lot of guys getting through because of those kind of factors. But I mean, I'm not trying to downplay how good he is. He's a phenomenal player. He's a phenom.
He's a good player.
Just one of those guys that you were even talking about. Like, we draft well and we picked him up undrafted. And like saw what he could do. It's just like another one of those players that, like, when you're hearing that he's gone, you're like, oh man, that really sucks. But if you were to list out the defense, I feel like you have your elite players, you're on the bubble, and then. Yeah, these guys can go, right? And I feel like he's more like one of those on the bubble ones. Like, it wasn't too surprising that they let him go. Like, it's not the biggest name, but he's also not like the weakest link by any means. So yeah, happy to see him go get the money in Carolina, right? Because like, we obviously couldn't pay him. Yeah,
happy to see him go, but I definitely don't begrudge the guy or any player for going and taking the payday. You got the rings, right? It's kind of the reverse we see with guys. Sometimes guys are like, hey, I'm going to take less money to go get a ring after they've played in the league for a while. This dude's got the ring, and now he's like, I'm going to go get that money. So, good for him.
Carolinas in the wintertime are much nicer than
and from
Missouri.
From all accounts and everything you hear from players on the team, and if you watch the franchise, the dude just seems like he's a good stand-up guy, right? An awesome teammate, entertaining, got a good personality, a hard worker, man.
Caught a kid that fell out of the stands.
Caught a kid that fell out of the stands. That's worth a couple million right there. So
I bet you the Chiefs training crew or the kitchen crew is going to be thankful he's not there ordering his 12 egg omelet and
he's like sausages. 340, something like that.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big man.
Kitchen
no doubt about that.
All right, a little easier.
Yeah, you're going to save a little money on not paying him, and you're going to save some money on the food budget there in the cafeteria. But I'll be interested to see what he does. Without Chris Jones lined up next to him and without George Karlaftis lined up out there on the edge, right? I'm not trying to say the guy was
let's go.
I'm not trying to say the guy's not a good player, but he was in a very good situation and he capitalized. So,
Right.
Just like Joe Tooney, best of luck. Thank you for your service, man. Like, did a lot for the team, helped bring this team championships and go to Super Bowls. So go out there and get your money. And maybe that Panthers team, they looked good when they played us, right? I mean, the Chiefs played a lot of close games last year, but the Panthers looked like they were figuring some stuff out as the season went on, especially that last stretch, like Nick mentioned there. Right before they played us, they had won a couple games, I want to say, in a row, and then played us tough. And then Bryce Young and that offense looked good. So, yeah, they shore up that defense. Maybe our man JT will have a little bit better time next year, football season. I talked to JT, by the way. And he said, tell you guys hi, and we might try to get him on draft time to talk about the Panthers.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Introduce everybody to JT. He's a solid dude, man. That is a good guy right there.
There's
Kevin. I knew. I said at the beginning. I said at the top of the show. I knew Kevin would be. No one's letting us down here. I knew Kevin. I knew Maria. I knew John C. Laney and them. Big Doug were gonna be showing up, popping in as the show went on. So good to see you, Kevin. Hope you've been doing well. Let's see. Like losing track. Well, the guys that have come
So many to keep
Nick
track
Bolton.
of.
I was kind of saving that for last, but we can talk about Bo's guy there. Nick Bolton signs the extension. He's going to be here for another 3 years. Bo, floor is yours, man. How excited were you? How happy were you when you saw the news come through that Nick Bolton was staying with the Chiefs? A little bit of a surprise, maybe.
I interrupted a business meeting, showed it on the Zoom call. Like, guys, look, he signed. That's how stoked I was, man. No, I mean,
we're ready to sign that $10 million contract. Hold on, dude. Did you see Nick Bolton?
Yeah, no, wait, hold on. Did you see this
Speaking of
contract?
Yeah.
No, I was super stoked, right? Like, I think the dude is such a powerhouse, like such a good leader on the field. We talk about player IQ and players' feel for the game. I mean, he makes up his shortcomings for his IQ and knowledge of where people are going to be on the field. He's one of those guys you can rely on fourth and shorts and third and shorts to go up there and make a stop when you need him to. For all the criticism he has in pass coverage, he more than makes up with in hitting power. And like I said, just being a leader on the field, team captain, guy calling the calls. Super stoked he's back. I think the guys really respect him. He has that veteran presence now. You know, the guys are really going to start looking up to him, especially with how young some of our secondary or some of our defense actually is. So yeah, just thrilled, man. That's a huge piece. I'm glad we kept. It was kind of, he could have been just like these other guys, like on to another team just as easily.
It was up in the air and going into last season, and he knew he was going to command a payday, and it was who the Chiefs going to be able to pay, or who will they pay, and who won't they pay. And Nick Bolton was, depending on where you were looking and who you're listening to, what you were hearing, could stay or he could have gone, and so he stays. Spags guy really likes him. I know Spags was in there pounding on the table, dude, telling him you got to keep Nick Bolton. You got to keep Nick Bolton. He's the green dot guy, right? Not only that, in the leadership, you talk about him being a veteran now and just some of the big games he's played in and the big plays he's made and that rubbing off on some of these younger guys on the defense coming in. That guy, like some of his stats that people started digging up and throwing out there, like he was on lists with like all-time greats as far as most tackles and number of interceptions and tackles for loss and his first X amount of years. He's up there with Luke Kuechly and now the guys, man, everybody's name's escaping me tonight. The guy on the 49ers, Patrick Willis, and some of these dudes. Most tackles by a player by age 25. That stat was going right there. I think I saw it on Lance on his page. And it was like Patrick Queen and a lot of these guys who are widely known as like the best linebackers currently in NFL or in recent memory. He's up there, man, at the top of the list. So look, man, Nick Bolton's a good player, and look, $15 million a year is a pretty good amount of money for a linebacker, but that's not gonna break the bank at all. I think Nick Bolton.
Yeah, exactly. One of those.
It's hard to say if he could have got more money elsewhere or not. I was thinking going into the season he was probably going to get a bigger, maybe a longer contract with more guaranteed money. I think you're seeing the Mahomes and the dynasty effect with a guy like Nick Bolton, right? Maybe it takes a few million less. Maybe there's a team out there that was willing to give him $17 million a year for 3 or 4 years, and he's comfortable here and wants to stay here. So super pumped. Nick, Good move by the Chiefs, keeping Nick Bolton.
Yeah, I think it's a spectacular move. I think it was a reasonable contract for the player of his caliber, like you said. He's the guy with the green dot on the field. He's the one that is, calling the plays. And like, look, Justin Reed exiting, that's some leadership leaving. So we need to keep the leaders on the defense. You can see that backfield. Maybe Trent McDuffie is now like the elder statesman of the backfield,
Crazy
right?
to think about.
Yeah, so like now he can be like stepping into that more of that leadership role there with Justin Reed leaving, and then keeping Nick Bolton. So now you've got solid like core guy that's been there, seen the success at every level of the defense, right? You got Chris Jones on the line, you got Nick Bolton in the linebackers, and you got Trent McDuffie in the backfield. And then those are the cornerstones, right? That you have help hold the rest of it together. And so I think that he was a guy that you needed to keep from a leadership perspective, and then also just understanding the defense, like Bo said, and really kind of like really just being in tune with what Spags does, And so so I was really excited. So the first thing I did was like text our group chat. Was like, "Whoa, dude, they did!" So I'm really excited. Congrats. He played in Missouri, right? He played at MU, so it's cool to see him get a second contract here, and he's got Bo in his last name, so we had to sign him. So
got Nick in his first name.
Had to stick around. So congratulations on the contract, man. I'm happy you're staying here in Chiefs Kingdom. We're looking forward to seeing him at Arrowhead. I'm looking forward to the schedule release show here later this offseason, because the home opponents, especially for the Chiefs, are fire this year, man. Like, I was looking at those games.
I'll be making a couple games.
Those I can take is going to be dope this year. So Kevin's still sick about the Super Bowl. I get you, man. I feel you. Like, we're moving on from it, but it still hurts, especially like you point out. Like, you had a chance at history, and you just came out and laid a total egg, man. Totally blew it. Like, oh shit. It'd be one thing if you lost a close game, you're on the precipice of history, and you come out and just get steamrolled. But it's NFL, man, and if you're not on top of your game, and it's just it came down when we talked about this. We don't need to rehash it, but it just came down to the inability to protect Patrick Mahomes, man. Really, that's all it was. And you've seen the Chiefs make moves with the line, especially addressing that weakness. Looks like Mango's in here, so good to see him.
Hey, yo, Mango.
Mango's bringing up the other new addition to the offensive line, Jalen Moore, right? There was Jalen Moore and there was Dan Moore, and they were going around, and I was like, that's never going to be able to keep that straight, man. I'm pretty sure it was Jalen Moore.
Jalen Moore, I'm pretty sure.
Left tackle, brought in from the 49ers. Look, that's been a good well to go to for the Chiefs a few times, right?
Bring them in from San Francisco, shove them off to Louisiana,
and shove them on down to the Saints, man. Like, it's worked before, and so he's a backup to Trent Williams. He played well by all accounts when he had the chance to come in. Saying you're Trent Williams backup, it's like one of the greatest left tackles maybe to ever play. Definitely the best left tackle in the NFL right now. So there's no shame in being the backup to that, man. But Mango's looking like he's heaping some praise on Jalen Moore there. Oh, yeah, there is. Mentions it right there in the comments. So, the Chiefs are making moves. They've whiffed a few times here by whether it was trade with trying to bring in Orlando Brown Jr. He wasn't the long-term solution. Tried drafting a couple guys. That didn't work out. Looks like maybe Kingsley is going to move to guard to fill the spot vacated by Joe Tooney. Jury's still out as far as I'm concerned on whether that guy can play guard or not. I understand it's significantly, I don't know if easier is the right word to use, but to play guard than left tackle in the NFL. So, Nick, what do you think about that move? I mean, not a whole lot of sizzle right there with that, but it doesn't mean it can't work out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I said before, right, if you can't cook something, you got to go to the store and buy it, right? If you can't make something, you got to go to the store and buy it. This one did feel a little bit kind of like they went to Costco and got the Kirkland brand, right? But like
the team.
But Kirkland brand stuff is actually pretty good. So, so like I think we'll be okay. Look, we don't need somebody to be great. We just need somebody to be competent. And so it is funny, the pipeline of the 49ers to the Chiefs, right? And it's like now the Chiefs to the Saints is becoming a thing. Although if you're a Chiefs fan for a long period of time, like that goes all the way back to like Steve DeBerg and like Joe Montana. So that's like a 30-year deal.
I rode that train out.
Yeah. That's what brought Bo to Kansas City, right? He rode that train to Kansas City. So I'm excited to see if we have a legitimate left tackle, what the offense can look like next year, right? That's all we're looking for, is somebody that they don't have to be an all-time great.
Can you get in the way at least?
Can you like even touch the guy, right?
You just fall over in front of him.
Can you
and
breathe on him?
Hesitate.
It's a pretty low bar, right? And so, like, I don't know. Have you guys changed jobs ever? And like, you go to a place where like kind of a lot of the people that work there kind of suck at their job, right? And it's like, so then you do like a competent job and everybody thinks you're great because you're like just actually doing the job.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's what we're going to see. It's like, we're going to see somebody that's like, dude, the guy didn't just get around him, like he actually got hands on him. Yeah. So, and Mahomes doesn't need a lot. He just needs, he needs like somebody that can at least, sufficiently block and give him at least a second to escape. So I'm happy with the signing. Obviously you'd like to see that they got some, just dead ringer for the position for the next few years, but I think that this is a good move.
Yeah. But what do you think, man? Are you happy about this? You think it's going to work out? Yeah. I mean, I don't really know much about the guy, honestly.
I mean, well, there's not a lot to go from. He played like 4 games last year. I think the year before that he played 10, and
he's
then
played a handful of games. Not as
he's
starter,
had like my concerns with him. He's had a little bit of an injury bug, right? And we've seen what happens with players who are prone to injury. It happens throughout the grueling course of a season, especially on that, and then especially at this position for us, dude. That's 5 Super Bowls with 5 different left tackles every Super Bowl. So it's just like one of those positions we can't seem to nail down. But man, I remember at the end of last year, we were like sending in our resumes to the Chiefs being like, hey, put us in there. I can at least fall down in front of the guy and make him have to do a half step over me, like these guys are just running right by him. So in that sense, I think, we are addressing the problem at tackle on the O-line. Is it a hit out of the park? Well, that's to be determined, but I'm okay with it, man. Just as long as they're addressing it, and maybe there's a lot of time left before next season. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah. I'm not as excited maybe as you guys are. I'm not saying it can't work out. It's just,
you're not as excited as Kirkland brand.
No, dude.
Dude, it's made by Grey Goose. I swear it's the same.
Some of the Kirkland stuff is good, and then there's some of the Kirkland stuff that's not as good, right? So, yeah. Look, I guess we were just dying for a guy that could at least dove at the guys and held onto his ankle and made him drag him to the quarterback or something. Better than nothing. So it's kind of like going back to the Joe Tooney trade is better than nothing, which kind of is what the Chiefs had left tackle last year.
That's their draft.
So I'm going to give the guy a chance. We've seen them bring in guy after guy after guy right now in the revolving door at that position, and they haven't hit yet. And it's like one of those. I'm trying to think of like an analogy or an instance, and it's failing me right now. But it's almost like the more you try to do something and you don't get it right and you get frustrated over it and you like focus in on it and you keep doing it, just like doesn't work and like your frustration.
Like Lucy with the pies.
Right. And like your failure to like get it done over and over, it just starts to like snowball on you. So
yeah.
Jury's that one, Nick.
That's a good one. I like that. So I'll give the man a chance. Always give everybody a chance here. And yeah, I got it. He's going to have to prove it though a little bit, and he's going to have to come in here. And I don't know how much of a battle there will be. I don't know if they can draft anybody where they're picking in the draft this year at tackle. So, fingers crossed, right? That's where that's at. Hoping and wishing for the best that they can do, and have a guy in here kind of maybe solidify that position for the near future. Let's see the guys they brought in. They brought in Charles and Minihue, right? Was a guy they brought in from the 49ers. You mentioned it's kind of like the Saints getting guys from us. We get these guys from the 49ers like at the beginning when they're still pretty good, and after they leave, like the Saints take guys from us kind of towards the end of their career. But it's worked out pretty good in the past. So let's hope that trend continues here. How about Justin Reed and a guy on his way out, going to the Saints, a guy that played really, really good defense for the Chiefs. You started to see though, the rookie last year was starting to get more and more snaps, right, at the safety positions.
Hicks.
So Hicks, Jaden Hicks. Another situation where you brought a guy in and you're getting out a year early, but it's better than paying a position like that and getting out a year late, especially if you got a guy you got confidence in behind him on the depth chart. Justin Reed moving on. Guy's going to step up, fill his role. I mean, that guy's a key player for the Chiefs defense, right? And these Super Bowl runs and the back-to-back.
Yeah, it really reminded me of last year when we gave up L'Jarius Sneed, man. It was just kind of like, oof, that didn't seem like the move to make. It seems like he's pretty clutch back there. But then you already mentioned it. Like, you look at who else do we have? You have Jaden Hicks, who was really coming into his own at the end of the year. I mean, really flying around, feeling comfortable. Same with Shamari Connor. He did not as well as Hicks, but I mean, he was still, he provides that depth back there. And then who's the other guy? Cook kind of got cooked a couple of times in the playoffs in the secondary, but it's just
Cook
good.
Or Brian Cook.
Yeah, right. But no, I think it's good. It's a good strategic move, especially with who we brought in. We'll get into that in just a little bit. You can move some guys around. You have the depth to play with it there, and we were in cap hell before 2 days ago, so I really see why they made this move. It just sucks because when you have such a good team, we've talked about this. You just want to keep everybody, man. Like, let's just come on, guys. We can do this, and you get it. They got to go get their own. So I understand. Not thrilled with it, but I wasn't too surprised by it either.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to see the guy go. Not only a good player, and Kevin is a little bit is on there. I don't know if he's spot on, but Reed was a hard hitter, man. That dude was a hammer back there, and he would lay the wood to people. He brought in fire and intensity to the defense, and guys rallied around him. So I think I would probably put him as an above average player, but not. I mean, no one's confusing him with Ed Reed out there, right, or something like that. But I'm not happy to see the guy go. Another guy, man, good teammate, a leader, stand up dude, and he's getting another contract and he's getting another payday, and he's going down there to New Orleans, playing with. How many other Chiefs guys down there right now? Tyrann Mathieu still on that team. Is Willie Gay still on the Saints? I saw people saying they need him to come back. I don't know what his contract was.
They haven't paid to what they're doing. They're getting Derek Carr again.
Yeah, they got Derek Carr down there.
I haven't paid attention to what the moves they've been making.
They're in cap hell, but I was trying to think what's that guy's name? The defensive lineman that's down there. Colin Saunders, yeah, that's right. The guy that got the interception, not pick six, the pick against Patrick Mahomes in the end zone there last year. I mean, half their damn defenses guys used to be on the Chiefs, it seems like. So
and they had Dan Sorensen for a bit too.
Yeah, Dan Sorensen there for a while. So I don't like seeing the guy go, but he's just another one of these guys where it's better to get out a little bit early maybe than a little bit too late.
Did Marcus Peters go there too?
No, I don't know. That guy played on so many teams, man. Marcus Peters. I still say one of the funniest, most badass things I've ever seen in a game was throwing the fucking flag in the stands. Dude, and the fan was like, oh, dude, he's serious. Like, dude, you're not going to get a better souvenir. I don't care if someone kicks a ball. Okay, maybe the ball that got you some Bitcoin from Tom Brady was a better souvenir to get at a game. But, dude, a referee's flag, man, like an actual – Dude, I would
You
carry
think they
that
tried to
shit
get him to
around
give
with
that
me.
back? Like, hey man, we're gonna need that back. We don't have
Bro,
extras of these.
I would have left the game early before they found me.
Just you catch the flag, turn around, and run out the stadium.
Dude, I would have been out of there quick. I guarantee it. I mean, when like the Jets were good, you know, that year wasn't like you were missing out on anything.
I would have been running out there like it's Halo.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you ain't getting that flag from me. I
Doing
mean, I
the
would have
Dan
carried that
Sorensen.
thing, dude. I would have carried that thing everywhere with me. That thing would be hanging from the belt loop 24/7 everywhere.
Take it to work.
Right. Right. Yep.
Call fouls on people.
Right. Yep. But so yeah, Nick, what do you think? Justin Reed.
I really like Justin Reed. I really liked him on the team. I thought he was a good teammate. I thought he seemed like he's good in the community. He did bring like an intensity to the defense where, I mean, you know, he didn't get a ton of interceptions and he didn't have like tons of flash plays, but good Lord, did he have some plays where you're just like, he just destroyed that guy on that hit. And
who's the receiver in the first Super Bowl against the Eagles? He just annihilated on the sidelines. Who was that? Devontae Smith. I want to say
AJ Brown, maybe.
I know which player you're talking about. I can't remember who it was though.
Blew someone up right by the sideline in that first Super Bowl. Yeah, that guy would stick his nose in there and lay the wood.
Yeah, so I just I'm gonna miss that, right? Like I was thinking about this even during the postseason run, and like when we had a Frank Clark on the team, right? Like I think the Chiefs defense need a little bit more edge. I think they're a really good unit, but and so like even like he wasn't a big trash talker or anything, right? He's like seemed like a pretty happy-go-lucky dude when he was, you know, when he was talking to him. But I just think like they need like that edge, that sense of like, you know, being a bully out on the field. That what are you laughing at?
I'm sorry, man. I go ahead. I'll finish.
I'm not
finish
that one
I'm
up.
sorry.
He'll reach out to us on Twitter.
Oh no, yeah. Well, we might go viral, so throw it up there.
No. So
his name's not in it, so you can't search it on social media.
French fry.
One of us had a tweet. I can't remember which one of the three of us was like, "Hey, I bet you if that was a tweet, he would catch some balls, right?" Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
No. So I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss that sense of just like get in there, make the hit, right? No business. He wasn't making business decisions ever on the field. He wasn't like. I mean, I really had a lot of respect for the way he played, and so I'm gonna miss him. But you know, that's the business of football, right? We just like. He had his contract and the Chiefs weren't able to pay him, you know, what he wanted. And so, you know, we're moving on. Right. And Hicks had a great season. He had a great rookie season. Good. So, you know, like we signed Bolton, like I said, so we've got the kind of that leadership back there in that middle part of the field. And we've got McDuffie and like, so I just feel like it's time to say, okay, well, we drafted somebody. It seems like we hit on a draft pick. Yeah. Let's see what this kid can do.
I mean, I would have kept Nick Bolton over Justin Reed. So,
yeah, sure.
I mean, you couldn't keep both those guys.
That's the choice, right? That's the obvious choice. Right, like you've got to pay one of those guys, and Nick Bolton's the, you know,
right. So, real quick, for those of you who are wondering why I can't stop laughing about Laney's comment, on one of my personal accounts, when Tyrann Mathieu first came to the Chiefs, he had just got his hair done, and it was when he had the bleached dreads. And he's like, new look, new city, what you think? Or something like that on Twitter, right? Or, man, he might not even said what you think. He just said something sarcastically, which I get on social media. There's so much vile and just haters out there, right? And people out there talking shit that it's probably annoying for someone like Tyrann Mathieu, but just jokingly, I think I put an LOL at the end too, to let him know it's like just being like serious. I didn't expect him to ever see it either, right? This is like, it's like looks like you got a package of French fries on your head, LOL. And he replied to me and told me to shut the F up and called me the B word. And I was like, when I saw it, I was like, is that really him? Like, is that like one of these, like, what do they call those, fake accounts or the?
I'm just gonna go ahead and mute this one right now.
Turned out the honey badger did care a little bit.
Turns out he does read tweets.
Right, it's all good. And then that was just kind of the tip of the iceberg with Tyrann Mathieu and social media and his time with the Chiefs. Yeah. Shut the F up, bitch. Is that real? I had to check it like 5, because that was back when like you had to be like somebody to have the blue check mark, right? And so
Yeah, if that wasn't a
it
glimpse
said
into the
Tyrann
future,
Mathieu, dude, blue check mark next to it, replied to you. Shut the F up,
if
dude.
that
You
wasn't
know
a
what that's
giant red
reminding me of
flag,
is,
or
that scene in Idiocracy where he's looking at the restaurant. He looks down, it's like the kids and stuff in there, and he looks back up at it.
Right. Oh man, I was kind of hoping, honestly, when he was with the Chiefs, I'd run into him somewhere and be like, "Yo, man, you remember me?
Hey, French
you
fry
told me to
guy.
shut the F up."
Hey,
Oh, man.
Frylock.
That's Frylock. That's some funny shit right there. Oh man, good
what a
times.
red flag! What things were going to be for
Good
him
times.
online
Yeah.
and his social media presence.
And you were not joking, Nick. I did mute because it was like bloop, 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 bloop. Like my mentions started blowing up. Oh, he told you. I was like, oh, yeah, he really told
At least now
me.
you can just put like, man, I'm getting cooked in here.
Right, yeah. Right.
Like the universal, like, well,
it's so funny.
sometimes you lose.
I mean, his hair did look like French fries in my defense. I mean, it did. And it's all good. Like I said, it was all in good fun. But when you probably got the amount of people sending you vile, hateful, nasty shit like those people get, right? It's probably hard to sift out the
sarcastic
humorous,
ones,
lighthearted, sarcastic ones
like,
from
hey, same team,
the
bro.
guy
It's
that's
just,
like
come
a
on.
real a-hole, right? Like a real jackass. So, oh man, good times.
Well, I'm friends with you, Scott, and I have trouble deciphering that on our text messages
right.
anyway.
Exactly. So, who else is coming and going off this team? I know we got him.
Next on the list,
Elijah Mitchell, the running back, another guy from the 49ers coming to the Chiefs. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if that dude can stay healthy, he is a good running back. Man, that dude is explosive. Dude, this move gives me Raheem Mostert to the Dolphins vibes, right? Like, same team, explosive guy, playmaker, a lot of speed, elusive. Couldn't stay healthy, but he went to Miami and they paired him up in the backfield and didn't necessarily say, hey, man, you got to go out and carry the ball 27 times a game. Get in there with Isaiah Pacheco, kind of help eliminate some of the wear and tear and the usage on that guy. That dude, that could be a move that pays big dividends for the Chiefs and its offense, man. That guy.
You seem pretty high on this one, though. You like this?
I do.
You like this move a lot?
I like that guy. Yeah, I do. I liked him with the 49ers. He was starting to blow up and then had the injuries and then couldn't get on the field and had the issues. And then we talked about the Chiefs' new left tackle being stuck behind Trent Williams. Then the 49ers traded for this guy named Christian McCaffrey, and he got stuck behind
this
him.
This little tiny running back named CMC.
Dude,
hey, man, I know plenty of online announcers
who
who think CMC is not a game changer.
Right.
Shit,
yeah.
Nick.
Right. Yeah. Shit, Nick. Shit, Nick's got to be happy right now
At least
that his guy,
not known colloquially online as Shitnick.
Right.
Going for me.
Again, it was Tony that gave him that nickname, not us. So if you're watching this, Nick, it's not us. Be mad at Tony. But look, dude, he's happy because his guy, right, Myles Garrett's going to lead him to back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah, with Kenny Pickett,
with his $40 million contract. But anyway, get back. That's off track. Elijah Mitchell, I do. I like the chance of this move. It's a 1-year deal. It's not a ton of money. And the guy, I just think, has a real chance to come in here. And like I said, look like Raheem Mostert did his first year and a half, too, with the Dolphins in that backfield. I don't know. You guys doesn't sound like you're as high or as familiar as I am. But, I mean, Nick, Elijah Mitchell, do you like that move to bring in a running back?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a gap, right, on our team where you look in, like we love Pacheco. He looked like he struggled coming back from injury.
Right.
And we know that he's achieving a lot. He's like reaching his ceiling, right? And so I'm definitely good to see us bringing somebody in. My concern is that like Shanahan's offense is kind of like,
oh yeah,
like it's designed to make the most.
Uriah can play running back in 40
yeah,
years.
It's exactly like his dad, right? His dad with the Broncos. You're like, dude, they got another
zone blocking and
yeah. So it's like, dude, they got another 1,000-yard running back on the Broncos. Like, so it's kind of the same thing. So I just hope it's not kind of like that Midas touch thing, and then it gets away from that offense and he's not as good. But I mean, we definitely look like we're trying to improve at that position, which is definitely something that we need, in this upcoming year.
Yeah. Bo, are you familiar with Elijah Mitchell? I mean, if you play fantasy football, you kind of probably know who he is.
Yeah, I'm familiar with what he was, but he didn't play at all last year, right? Like he had some
No. Yeah, he was out.
Yeah, like not at all. And that's kind of my worry. That with mixed with his like injury history. But I'm with you. Like I understand like the talent he's bringing. Like when he was playing and was a little bit younger, he was phenomenal. I'm just a little bit more concerned about not having played last season. Not like a season's like the end all say all to a player's career, but there's going to be some spider webs to knock off there. I dig it because we let go of Samaje Perine, and I feel like that's going to be a perfect filler gap for that role, like a good pass catcher out of the back while also being a threat on the ground. So I really like that he's bringing that depth to us. We're just bringing in some really injury prone guys, and when we do that, it just kind of seems to resurface week 3, week 4. So I'm just
not
proof will be in the proof will be later down the road, but I'm hesitantly.
Look, I'm not saying the guy's going to come in here and be some like 1,400-yard rusher or anything like that, but he's a talented guy when healthy, and he could bring a skill set, let's just say, in a style of running to that position that we haven't seen.
Yeah, it's a position group that we're definitely lacking a lot of skill. Like we have average, better than average running backs, right? But we don't have anybody that's like knocking the door down by any means.
Right. Yeah. So I kind of like that combination there. That maybe them two guys can help each other stay healthy, right? Too. And or just could come in with the contract you sign. You come in training camp and get beat out or get injured, and you never hear from him again. So I'm not going to get carried away like I did with the couple of some of the guys the Chiefs have brought in here. Who's the guy's name from the Browns? Josh Gordon, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go all Josh Gordon like I did when the Chiefs brought him in, but keep an eye on that guy. Keep an eye on that guy at running back. Now that I think we finally gotten to everybody that's come and gone off of the Chiefs, and that feels like that should be 3 years worth of moves. Especially
no, we didn't.
We still have more. There's still more.
We didn't talk about Hollywood Brown getting re-signed.
There's more.
That's right. We didn't talk about that one. Hollywood Brown. He's back. Almost
another 1 year deal, right?
It's like a Groundhog's Day kind of contract deal with him. It's like, all right, let's try this again, right? Like,
you didn't get last season. You want the same deal? Right. We can do it again for you.
We're gonna bring a 1 year deal. I like Hollywood Brown. Injury has derailed that guy and kind of kept him from maybe maximizing his full potential. Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, if he can come back healthy and after suspension, maybe we'll see. Fingers crossed again, like we were doing earlier, with that we get to see, what do we call that? The 501, the 511 or something like that.
541, 541.
I'm trying to remember what that nickname it came up was.
514.
Maybe we shouldn't call him that because it completely
451.
blew up in the Chiefs' face last year, and that plan didn't work out whatsoever. That did not work out. So, Hollywood Brown, Nick.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need.
About that.
We need a receiver at at that amount of money with those types of skills, and hopefully Rice he's not gone for the whole season with any sort of legal stuff. If that plays out, it looks like we'll see what happens with this situation with Worthy. Just I know that they said that there's no charges coming, but that doesn't mean that the NFL won't do anything. But yeah, I'm excited to have him back. I think that he's a good addition to the team, and I'm happy to see what he can do with like a full, with training camp and not being out like most of the season with an injury and surgery and stuff. So I think
don't play him in the preseason this year.
Yeah, just don't play him in the preseason. Right? Like
he should be familiar enough with the offense after playing in postseason and the end of the regular season. His first play, man, of the preseason, dude.
I took the wife out to see Nate Bargatze downtown, and
well, don't do that again.
And it was like during that first preseason game, and like the game was like kind of starting as we were like checking into the hotel because we stayed down there by was it T-Mobile Center now, and like I was like, well, the game just started, and I was like trying to get it to pull up on my phone, and by the time we got up in the room, they're talking about it, and I was like, he's hurt already. Like, dude, it was just the most disheartening feeling ever.
It still says 14 minutes on the clock. What's going on?
Right. Yeah. No, dude, that was early. And it was like nonchalant. He walked off the field and was kind of like, and I was like,
Wow.
did he get hurt on that play?
Mm.
Oh, yeah, he got hurt on that play. He's not going to be back until week 15. So looks like Jeremy's showing up here. Good to see you.
What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah. Carol talking about not sure about Hollywood Brown. Yeah. He's not going to come in here and be the Chiefs' #1 wide receiver. He's not a guy that's going to come in and erupt and get 1,500 yards and 10 or 12 touchdowns or nothing, but he's a solid guy that you can rely on when healthy to go out there and make some plays for you. And it's going to be the Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy show next year, if both of those guys come back from injury and or any kind of suspension. It's going to be those two guys. That's going to be your number one, number two, or your number 1A and 1B. I don't know how you want to call it with the way Xavier Worthy looked at the end of the year and in the postseason, especially the Super Bowl. So, it was a nice move. I liked it. You guys want to get to this week's poll? Or did we get to everybody? Is that everybody?
I'm pulling it up. You want to talk? Jeremy asked a question there while I'm getting this pulled up.
I think real quick though, I think Marquise fits a good hole that we're gonna have. Obviously, we talked about Rashee Rice's legal trouble, and obviously we kind of thought Xavier Worthy was going to be in some right coming back from anyway. I think what's kind of overlooked about him is he has that potential to step up into like a number 2, even a number 1 role if you need him to. I think they were kind of looking for that in D-Hop last year, and especially with him going down, Marquise Brown going down. I think that's why they brought D-Hop in, and then they're looking at it like, okay, now we have 2 of the same position and style we want to use this for. Like, let's go with the younger guy essentially, and I think he has a little bit more bust when you're talking like boomer bust potential to actually break out and have a really decent year. Like you're saying, you're not going to get 1,400 yards, no, but I think he could almost push that 1,000-yard mark really easily, especially given like if he's the go-to guy the first 5 or 6 games. So I wouldn't sleep on Hollywood.
Laney, unfortunately, MVS looks like he signed with the Seahawks.
He's on the Seahawks. So.
We'll get him. He'll be on our team week 6 or 7.
Well, since I brought up his question here.
Jeremy's question. I feel pretty good. Linebacker core looks a lot like it did last year, right?
Did we make any moves?
The secondary.
Just re-signing Bolton, right, with the linebackers.
Re-signing Bolton. The secondary, you lost Justin Reed, but Jaden Hicks, we talked about him. He stepped up and played well later in the year as a rookie. The Chiefs bring in, guys, I just missed another one. Christian Fulton, the cornerback from the Chargers, comes in here. Not a huge splash signing, but a solid guy. Look, we've seen the Chiefs do this with Spags every year, whether it's in the draft or free agency. They bring in a guy who was, I don't want to say the guy was an average corner, but not a household
relatively
name.
Unknown, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Not a household name. And they come in here and they play well for a year or two. Right. And then it's on to the next guy. For as bad as they are evaluating left tackle, they're on the complete opposite side of the spectrum from that when it comes to evaluating cornerbacks and getting cornerbacks.
Any secondary guy.
It's plug and play at cornerback with the Chiefs and this defense, it seems like. So, I'm liking it. Obviously, they got the draft coming up still. So we'll see how that shakes out. But Nick, Bo, I don't know who you guys.
Yeah.
You like the way that's
so what do we
looking,
would have like Bolton. We would have Tranquil, Leo Chenal. I think maybe we could add like
shirt Cochran again.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll come back. He's special teamers and a 4th
red shirt
linebacker guy. But
I think that maybe if we could add another linebacker to the rotation, maybe through the draft, if we could get somebody, I would be good with that. But I feel confident with the guys that we got right now. We have it's a group that knows the defense and has played at a high level for us, for the past couple of seasons, really. So.
And like the biggest part to that question, I think, is like I'm stoked with it because we got Nick Bolton. We got a hell of a sneak preview of what it looks like without him when he got injured season before last, right? When he's not there, Our defense is holding on by duct tape.
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm as long as we got him, I'm good.
Yeah. It's like that when you drive behind that guy that's got all this stuff loaded in his truck and you don't see any straps, right? You're like, how's that going to hold
I've
up?
seen
Right?
Final
Change
Destination.
lanes, not be right
Yeah,
behind
I'm
him.
not driving right behind that. So, I mean, it doesn't look like anything's moving or coming out of there, but it also like don't look all that secure either. So,
Oh, Jeremy, I'm with you on that. I just
Right?
don't think he's gonna fall to us, man. I don't. So many
Hard to
people
say,
will just
man.
pick him up so that we don't get him.
right.
Yeah.
The linebackers in the first round. I mean,
We're
it's,
32. Is it? It's like first round. Or
I still
31, right?
I still want wide receiver in the first round. I'm fucking pissed we didn't get DK Metcalf, but we don't have. I'm not going to get into that. But
We can get into it because dude, there's been so many
fucking
moves.
The dream is
There's
dead,
still
man.
a lot
It's
there.
dead. Like I've been holding out hope for like.
I was
3
big on that
years,
last
man.
year when he
Ah,
started
God
talking about
damn.
it.
Yeah, man, I
shit.
just fucking man. That dude on the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes would be.
Let's
insane.
talk about Fulton real quick. You guys stoked about that addition? He's the guy
Yeah,
that
we were just kind of talking about it. Yeah,
had the interception against us on the Chargers,
Right.
the play that Rashid Rice went out, right?
right. I don't, and it gives me no pause when
Yeah.
it comes to the Chiefs and bringing in a cornerback with Spags and the defense. Every guy they've brought in, aside from maybe one or two guys here or there, number 13, Nazi Johnson hasn't looked too good. But other than that, man, those guys have just come in and it's been a turnstile and in a good way. Not like a left tackle, right? Just
Yeah.
guy leaves, guy comes in, plays hella. He leaves, guy comes in, plays hella good. That guy leaves, guy comes in, plays hella good. I mean, it's almost like the assembly line with cornerback in this defense.
And it doesn't matter like the age or like experience, right? We'll do it with a
Right.
rookie. We'll do it
Right.
with a 3-year guy.
Right,
Like, just throw him
draft,
in there.
free agent, don't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Does not matter. Yeah, and that is a good point. I think he played a little bit out of his did not play to his strengths in the hardball defense. So, and Spags we trust, especially when it comes to cornerback. Who else did we miss? Who else did I not bring up?
Right, let me get this list going here.
If there's anything else.
I mean, damn, man, what is that like? 12
Yeah,
guys?
they tendered. They
We haven't even
tendered
talked about the
to,
guys we gave up. We're just talking about the guys we acquired.
Right.
Yeah, they tendered to Matt Ariza.
Oh,
So yeah, I wasn't super pumped about that.
yeah.
I mean,
Punt
we didn't
guy?
talk about
What?
The guy
we didn't
just
talk about
the guy
Travis
fucking-
Kelce definitely coming back. I mean, that we could,
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm obviously happy. I think he's gonna come back and be good. I mean, you guys expect anything other than for him to come back and be good this year?
No, there'd
Not
be
really.
nothing to like signal that it wouldn't be that way. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
He had 900 yards last year. The guy
Here's
was
the
balled out in the
poll.
playoff game.
Let me throw it up there.
Yeah.
So I've got both of them up there. So
Yeah, so we put this out here, and then I realized I should have waited before I put the poll out because I knew Justin Reed would most likely end up leaving when I saw the news he left. I was like, damn, we got to rerun this poll. So if you're not following us on our X account, you should head over there at Chiefs Kingdom Live. Kingdom's a little bit of abbreviation, as you can see in the handle there. But who do you hate to see leave the most out of those three players? I'm going to go first.
5% with Justin
Dude,
Watson.
What is up? Jay Watt, man, listen to me. Like that guy, no one is ever going to mistake him for a Tyreek Hill, right? Or some of these other guys. But that guy came in here, man, and had more than a couple good years on this team. And, dude, he answered the bell at times when the offense was struggling and receivers were hurt and underperforming and draft picks weren't living up to the hype. And that man had big plays and big catches for this team, helped us get to Super Bowl championships. Man, I mean, we talked about Tershawn Wharton. All love to Tershawn Wharton, don't get me wrong. But outside of his 8.5 sack season he had last year, he was not as productive or as important to this team as Justin Watson was the previous few years. Justin Reed, you could argue. I could see someone voting for that. I'd listen to that argument, but man, Justin Watson only getting 5% of the vote. That's just terrible, man. It was
Dude,
Charles
but
Barkley.
It kind of goes with his MO though. He's flown under the radar even in coverage so much. That's why he's so
fair.
like the word I think of is clutch. He's always open, he's always there. Mahomes trusts him. You know what I mean? He's super sure-handed like that, especially during times where our receivers were struggling with that. That guy did not have that problem whatsoever.
So I mean,
I gave away his jersey. Oh man,
Right.
I voted for. I'm one of. We're two of those 5%, man.
Right. I think when they redid it though, Nick, I think you went a little bit different than Bo and I, right?
Yeah, I went Justin
the
Reed
check
on the
mark,
second
that's right.
one. Look, I just it's like a numbers game, right? Like Justin Reed, he was there for a lot more snaps.
Yeah.
I think he was just a bigger impact on the field overall. So I mean, it wasn't a shot at either of the other two guys. I think they're good players, but I mean, Justin Reed just was more of kind of like an every down kind of guy out there on the field for us. So I just felt like that's going to be like a bigger gap to fill, maybe. So,
right. Yeah. If you haven't voted yet, go check us out at Chiefs Kingdom Live on X. You can get in on the poll. We'll get back to doing the weekly polls here. We're talking draft. We'll be talking all kinds of stuff and asking questions in there. Voting polls is just fun. I don't know what it is about it, dude. I every time I scroll past a poll on social media, I'm voting in that shit. I don't know what it is. But
I belong with Team Slytherin.
Right. And I'm always not voting with the top choice, but I'm always usually with the second most popular pick there. So
I hate to see anybody leave though, especially when you have a team good enough to make it to the Super Bowl. Trick question.
I was thinking about. Remember when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl against 49ers? Anybody forgot about that on here? You remember that? But
I don't recall.
Do you remember them bringing back 21 of 22 guys off that team for the next year and the run it back? And now it's I think we lost 21 to 22 guys. Right. And that's just the power of having the quarterback on the rookie contract at that point, Patrick Mahomes, right on the cheap deal.
Oh, dude, completely. Right.
You start having to pay these guys big money, and you can't pay everybody anymore, man. You got to be a lot smarter and a lot pickier. And that's what the Chiefs have done here as they've kept the dynasty rolling.
Right. For sure, Jeremy. For sure, would love to see a solid receiving core that Mahomes likes.
I like Marquise Brown, and look, I think Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice have a chance to be a lot more than just a mid receiver, right? But I'm just tired of these mid guys coming in here, man. They need to go out and get a legit number one wide receiver. And Rashee Rice was looking to be that guy before he got hurt. Small sample size, only 3.5 games. Xavier Worthy looked like maybe he could be that guy. In the second half of last season and going into the playoffs, but that still hasn't proven that either of those guys can do it for a full season, really carry the team and put up the 1,500 yard receiving numbers like we saw out of Tyreek Hill when he was here. So, I want him to pick wide receiver first round in the draft every
time,
year.
Right? Let's get weapons. Let's just get weapons.
Just get some weapons, man. Which analyst was it? Says, look, you brought Patrick Mahomes in here. If you wanted him to be Alex Smith, you should have just fucking kept Alex Smith, right? Not that he's played like Alex Smith or that he's that skill set, but
the point
I understand you're just bringing in a bunch of guys that aren't maximizing his ability to throw the deep ball and his playmaking ability to really take top off the defenses with the arm.
Yeah, that's been one of our biggest criticisms, not having a true number one. Well, we did with Rice for a minute, the
3.5
second half.
games.
3 games. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Guys, I just realized there's 3 contracts that got handled. Well, I don't know. They're not done, but they got restructured that we haven't even talked about. That's cleared up $60 million in cap space for us, $50 million in cap space.
Yeah.
The big 3.
Yeah, those things are funky, and I don't know enough about the way the salary cap works and how these teams manipulate this deal. I know it has to do with what is signing bonus, right? Because the signing bonus gets prorated out over all of the years. And then they have an annual per year actual salary, and you can convert part of that to whatever. But that's the games you got to play when you got a guy making the kind of money that Patrick Mahomes is making.
Right. I'm not going to sit here and act
the 17th highest quarterback or something, annual value or whatever now.
It jumped up now, but
ridiculous
yeah,
shit.
with the restructuring, it jumped up. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know the minutia and the ins and outs of salary cap and contract negotiations, right? But all I knew is we were like in the red minus 14 million, and then they restructured his. Kelsey didn't restructure us. He just agreed to play, and Chris Jones, and now we're 49 million in the greens. So I think they're trying to make some moves. I had somebody explain it to me, and this is like super layman's terms. It's just like imagine you buy a car and you have an auto loan, right? For 5 years, 3 years in, you refinance it for another 5 years. It's cheaper. You just push that money down the road, and that's that's going to be it. But let's go.
Yeah, it's essentially it. You just convert it to a bonus, but you get to
times,
spread that bonus out over 5 years, right?
You got me thinking. If I do that enough times, I'll never have to pay my car off.
My car payment's only gonna be like
I'll never
$30.
have to pay for my car.
I paid $27,000 in interest.
Right, but I never paid more than $80.
And the car's worth 30.
Right. Yeah. No, that's funny. That's good. I like that. Yeah, they're moving numbers around, and you're going to see that when you are paying big contracts and trying to keep the dynasty. When you have so many fucking good players on your team like the Chiefs have, you got to be smart and creative, and you got to get tricky. So, a couple non-Chiefs NFL news things, players going places. Josh Allen, like, getting that much of a contract, bro. Like, when you've never beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
That was almost my favorite contract until Nick.
I mean, look, like, here's the deal. Like, never begrudge a guy for getting the bag, but I mean,
that's
at
not
what
what I'm
point, if
surprised
you're
about.
a guy like that, do you not realize, like, man, I've never really, like, gotten over the hump here, and now I just made it really, really hard on my team to get over that hump. I mean, Nick, I know you said you're a fan of that contract. I mean, I hate to always say taking too much money because you got to get what you're worth, and you're worth what someone will pay you. But I mean, outside of his pity, sympathy MVP award that he got this last year, what has that guy done?
I mean, he's kind of been their whole team, right? I mean, they're like, hey, Josh, run the ball. Hey, Josh, throw the ball. Hey, Josh, run at the goal line. Like, so I kind of get it. And I don't know. It's probably weird because when you're one of those premier players, it's not only that you like owe it to yourself to try to get what you're worth, but you kind of like owe it to all the other people because like then you raise the floor for your position for all the other guys by getting that. And so like, it's weird, but yeah, I don't know. Like I've never been in that position. I'll never be in that position, obviously, but I would like to think that I would be satisfied with like a certain amount of money and then prioritize like achievements because, you know, like when you win Super Bowls and stuff, like, I mean, that opens up other revenue streams for you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I don't know. It was my favorite contract aside from Nick Bolton's signing because I was like, dude, that's just like, it just got harder for the Bills. You know what I mean?
A lot harder
for the Bills. And so now I saw they signed, which Bosa is it that the Chargers let go?
Joey Bosa.
Bosa.
Joey.
Yeah, so they signed Joey Bosa. So they're still making some moves out there, but yeah, it was wild to see, you know, over $300 million number. And
yeah, Joey Bosa can go fill that over the hill pass rusher position that was vacated by Von Miller.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so but in over 200 million guaranteed. So I mean, hey, more power to him, man. He's going to get paid. You know, I guess if you're going to lose to Patrick Mahomes, like at least like he'll get like another, you know, 20 million a year or whatever that is. So
yeah, Patrick Mahomes is going to make more money in endorsements than Josh Allen's going to make on that contract. So that plays a big part into it too, being able to take less money. But I mean, Josh Allen, is that giving him too much money? Is that him taking too much money? I mean, you've seen Patrick say, "I left money on the table for Chris Jones when he got his deal," right? I mean,
right.
Dude,
it has like the earmarks of like Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson contracts. You're like,
right?
What did you exactly do? You made it to the playoffs, good, dude. So did 14 other teams, man. Like I don't. They're not all commanding top money, but you asked what he did to command that much money, dude. He's changed the rules every year that guy's played. Say if he loses, rule change. If he loses, rule change. Oh, he didn't get the first down, rule change. That's how much money it costs to change rules in the NFL, apparently.
Josh Allen's going for the 3-peat of rule changes going into this year.
I mean, I'm with you guys. You would like to see quarterbacks take team friendlier deals, but at the same time, when I'm with Nick, he is that team, right? They put everything on his shoulders. So I mean, yeah,
I'm not saying take like half of that, but man, like that's
Well, and
just
this
a lot
is
of
going to
money.
be his biggest, at the table, right? Because after this is done, he's going to be in his, mid-30s
And
maybe.
with the beating the guy takes and the way he runs the ball and
Yep.
that big portion of his game, like you guys talked about, is him kind of being the running back at times too. Now they went and got Cook, and Cook had a good year last year and took some of that workload off of Josh's shoulders, but still, man,
but not when it mattered, right? Like they would lean away from the run game, give it to Josh, and have him be the run game, and we just know that's just not a sustainable plan going forward for that position, right?
Right. Yeah. Makes it harder for them, which should make it easier for the Chiefs. So we're all about that. We'll see what happens with them. Other NFL news. Aaron Rodgers, there's all
where do you
these
think he
rumors
lands?
about, dude, where that guy's going. Steelers with Vikings seem to be neck and neck right out in front of that race right now.
Go ahead. Is he going to do like the reverse Brett Favre? If he's going to go Jets then Vikings instead of Vikings and Jets?
Right. Didn't Brett Favre? No, Brett Favre went to the Vikings last, didn't he?
First, no. He went to the Vikings and then the Jets, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he retired a Viking.
I thought that was he blew that NFC Championship game with the interceptions, and that was like the end of his career. I'm pretty sure he went Packers, Jets, Vikings, but where does he play next year? While Bo's looking that up. Nick, Vikings, Steelers, or elsewhere?
I mean,
he went Jets, Vikings,
The
Packers.
Steelers
Jets,
would be just really interesting to see him with Mike Tomlin as a coach, right?
DK Metcalf and George Pickens and
Aaron Rodgers. So you'd have the receivers just beating the shit out of the defenders.
I just don't know what to think of Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know what he's got left or what to think of him now. I mean, he missed an entire year because of a bad injury and then just looked bad last year. But he was on the Jets. Who looks good on the Jets? Nobody looks good on the Jets. So last guy to look good on the
I would
Jets
say
was Joe
Steelers
Namath.
is a good chance because I mean, look, they don't seem to be committed to trying to draft a quarterback, right?
Right.
So I would say that's if I had to guess, that's where he'd go.
Dude, I've been out of the country. Did the Steelers move on from Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, or?
Yeah, Justin Fields went to the Jets.
Oh shit! Sorry.
So no, you're good. Yeah, no.
But Russell's still there, right? So they're gonna have the same
Russell
QB
Wilson
dilemma with
still there, right?
two guys who think they should be the number one.
I don't know they'd let him go or who would be the backup. That's an interesting conversation to have. Who should be the starter and who should be the backup between Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson at this point? But unless I missed something, Russell Wilson is still on the Steelers. I'm pretty sure. No, yeah, Justin Fields went to the Jets.
Yeah, okay. I see the Vikings being more dependent on getting a good quarterback, especially with the year that they just had, right? Going 13 plus wins.
They got the rookie who now he didn't. It's not really the Mahomes plan, right? Where he came in and sat behind another quarterback, a veteran guy. I guess Sam Darnold's a veteran.
Oh shit, you guys are right. He went Jets then Vikings.
Right. But
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Did you not hear me say that? I said that.
Yeah, Bo said it
sorry.
too.
I didn't hear you.
Damn, he's fucking disrespecting you, Bo. He's like, I ain't listening, Bo.
I mute myself all the time. I thought, shit, maybe I was muted when I said
that. Yeah, that's a good possibility. So, I just don't because the rookie, right, J.J. McCarthy, they drafted him in the first round, looked good, set a record for touchdown passes in training camp, and then got hurt. Doesn't sound like either of you guys saw that. Vikings fan posted that before last season. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
He was like, no one's thrown for more touchdowns in a training camp than J.J. McCarthy. It's fucking one of the dumbest things ever. Anyway, but he missed a year, but it was due to injury, right? So it wasn't like he sat behind and Alex Smith are a veteran quarterback and got to get in and get reps and be all like super involved like Patrick Mahomes did. But I mean, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, year 2, you burn him sitting on the bench behind another guy after you lost year 1, and now you're like halfway through his contract. And the guy hasn't
but
played,
Sam
man.
Darnold
Like,
had such an anomalous
right,
year,
I know,
going
that's what I'm
13
saying. Like,
wins. You're going
you
to
go
come
out
out with a
and-
rookie and like
Right.
piss off Justin Jefferson because he's not going to have the
Right.
greatest first opening
Yeah,
of the
like-
season. I'm okay with it.
You
Justin
sit
Jefferson come
JJ
with us 2
McCarthy
years,
behind
right?
Aaron Rodgers, who hasn't been good for 2 years.
Yeah,
Either,
it's
you know what I
insane.
mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't know what. And maybe since letting him sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year would be a good deal if Aaron Rodgers could come in and play well and kind of mentor the guy. But I don't know.
Teach him about darkness retreats.
I just see the Steelers. I see him laying on the Steelers and them going for that. Keep the streak alive and never having a losing record, even though you were 500 like half of those years, right? I don't know.
That's an interesting one. It's fun little.
I'm
thought
saying
experiment,
Steelers.
though.
I'm going Steelers.
I
Bo,
still
did
think
you pick
Vikings.
Vikings?
I still think Vikings. Yeah, I think they're just a little bit more dependent on needing somebody clutch.
Yeah.
They had
be.
such a great year, man, to like just go down to a rookie and expect him to perform. It's a big ask. We've seen a lot of rookies fail. Some people can do it, but I could imagine him going there. If anything, is like a glorified quarterback coach for the first couple. Like, have him start the first couple of games. If it's not working out, you have there, and you have his brain to pick as far as coverages and everything that you would need for a rookie quarterback that doesn't pick up the game that fast. But that's my opinion.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I just you draft a first round guy and then you don't even play him for the first 2 years, man. I don't know if that's the plan,
Right.
but
yeah, I know what you mean, Laney.
Interesting choices
That
to be
didn't
made.
happen, but I don't think Love wanted to be mentored. I think he was brought into Green Bay to be that guy, that chip on his shoulder.
right. And I think they brought him in to piss off Aaron Rodgers because the general manager and Aaron Rodgers were
Yeah,
pissing
they
match
were
for whatever reason.
They were butting heads that whole fucking season, right?
It's like, oh yeah, really? You want to fucking piss? You want to like take shots at me in this interview? I was to bitch about never drafting you a receiver in the first round. We're gonna take a quarterback, Aaron. See what you think about that. It's wild. I mean, Jordan Love kind of had an interesting year last year. He's never gonna be as good as Aaron Rodgers, which that's talking about Hall of Fame players. That's not some like low bar the guy couldn't reach or some earth-shattering like super deep analysis on my part there, or a bold proclamation. But yeah, it's just there's players and shit going everywhere. The Broncos, they've got themselves a couple of off-season acquisitions that people are excited about. We'll see.
I haven't seen the
them
Broncos
have to play.
stuff. I've seen the Raiders.
Yeah, they got Dre Greenlaw from
okay.
the 49ers, and then they got Talanoa Hufanga, I think is his name.
Dude, the 49ers just giving away
Motherfunga.
everybody. Giving away
dude,
the
they're-
shit. Keep the Avengers. We just
Yeah, they're
Everything must go, huh? Does anybody check on John V?
I was kind of hoping we'd see John V in the chat tonight, and we could talk about that.
Yeah.
But,
they fire sell their whole team, huh?
right,
Got rid of Debo too, right?
right,
Yeah, Debo. Mufunga was
right.
that
He was
dude
good.
was always in somebody's way.
When they call them the Niners from now on, that's just going to be because half the team's gone. It's not just an abbreviation for 49ers. It's the Niners. We got 9 guys left on the team. So.
That's good,
John
dude.
B would be here when I can make that joke.
Oh,
but
man.
We're running out of time. So
So the Raiders released Devontae, paid Max
Yeah.
Crosby. I feel like that's
Traded
better.
a third
for
round
us.
pick for Geno Smith.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Man, I don't. Raider gonna Raider. That's all.
Are they just trying to? Are they just
I don't
copying
know.
everything the Browns are doing?
I don't know what they're doing, man.
I mean, I know the Browns like came after, but it's just like
give all
when
of
you
our
see
money
the
to a
Browns are
defensive
making the same
rusher.
moves. They just got to be like, ooh, maybe that's not.
It's not a bad idea. Maybe we should pay Max
Oh,
Crosby
I
all
hope
of
that
the
doesn't
money.
happen to me.
Right? Yeah. I don't know, man. A third round pick for a 35-year-old quarterback who was good, right? I mean, he led the league or was top 3 or 5 yards last couple of years, but
He
DK
a comeback
Metcalf and
player of the
Tyler
year 2
Lockett,
years
right,
ago.
man? Like, yeah. So
Well, he'll have Brock Bowers, I guess, but yeah, it's
Dude,
Right.
how good are you if you have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and you can't make stuff happen as a quarterback?
right.
Like,
No, I mean, yeah.
look, you're just like
bring him to Oakland. Come on.
like
right.
telegraphing to your fans
Or
that
Las
you're not
Vegas.
trying to win when that's the move you're making, right?
Right.
Like
Exactly. Yeah.
like you're just like, yeah, no. I mean, well, it's like last year when they had Gardner Minshew and AOC, right? Like, it's just like they're just like, yeah, no, we're just not really trying this year.
I don't know, man.
This must have
I don't
been
know
this
what the
is
fuck
this
they're
is
doing.
what it had to have felt like being a Patriots fan during their years of like
Right.
being really good and watching the rest of their division just be like,
Right.
that's what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to see what the Chargers and Broncos have to do if they have to play a little bit tougher schedule. And they have to win more than 3 games against teams with winning records that are all
Right.
amongst themselves
Yeah.
and beating each other 2 or 3 times or 4 times a year. So I'm not sold on either of those teams as being some like reinvigorated or they're a real challenger now. Well, we'll see.
Oh, so you didn't hear that Bo Nix is the future and that the rest of the
I've
league's
heard
got to
that.
watch out?
Yeah,
Oh, you did hear it. Yeah, I guess it's been
Yeah, I did.
broadcast pretty loud.
right. Yeah. So interesting stuff. Crazy action in the NFL this last week.
Wild week.
Did we miss anything? Anything you guys wanted to talk about before we get out of here? Or?
Dude, there was so much. I got to catch up. You guys are informing me of stuff that I've missed.
Right.
Oh, we got Robert Tunyon, the old Green
Baby
Bay tight
Gronk,
end.
the original Baby
Yeah,
Gronk,
the
right?
original
That was
Baby
his
Gronk.
nickname? Before the other, whatever that kid. That's a kid, right? Baby Gronk.
I thought that guy was going to be
Yeah.
a lot bigger of a sports
I don't think
star
he's a
than
kid.
he
He's
turned
an
out
old
to be.
kid.
Oh, bro, I got Robert Tunyon on my Dynasty League team, and I was like, there we go, baby. And
Yeah.
it never really turned into anything. So
Fizzled right out.
it did.
Right after he left
He
the
was
Packers.
Right, yeah. It's like that comedian says, it's a PT Cruiser. He was hot for about 2 years, and then that was about it. So, really good, man. It
What
was
about
fun.
did you guys see the Colts signing old Danny Dimes?
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
did see
Dude,
that.
Daniel
And they're
Jones
stoked
is-
about it?
Yeah, look, Daniel Jones is okay, like backup quarterback. Anthony Richardson, that guy's had the roller coaster there in Indianapolis, right? Like, oh, he's gonna be great. Oh, he looks bad. Oh, he's gonna be great. Oh, he quit on the team. Like, what's going on? That dude, I don't know what is happening with him, but yeah, I don't know. Daniel Jones,
Ooh, that's rough, dude.
you're in dire straits, bro.
Yeah, you're in desperation mode if you're going for him.
You're bringing in Daniel Jones other than like, I'll say
Like a
right-
backup?
Like, dude, the Chiefs, if they could have got Daniel Jones as a backup for Patrick Mahomes, it wouldn't have been the worst thing ever, right? But if you're bringing him in with like a legit shot to be your starting quarterback, you're
trying to get your fan base to rally
Right.
around him. Just
Again.
like, this is an uphill battle.
We're gonna
Right.
suck this year. Like,
right? Yeah, it's
what
gonna be
you're
bad.
telling your fans, dude. Like, we're not serious.
Right.
I don't know.
So
So
you
who
wanna
the
review those
Giants have
season
now, then?
tickets?
Are they going with that DeVito or Vinny,
I don't
whatever
know,
his
bro.
name
They're gonna-
was?
That's another
You guys didn't hear
team
about that?
that's like,
Imagine being a Giants fan right now. You lose Saquon, now you lose your quarterback, and like,
right. Although
And
they're
no
good
hope
to pop
for the
up
future.
somehow and win a Super Bowl about every 8 or 9 years somehow. Like, and then I don't.
when Archie Manning goes there next year or
Right,
2
Archie
years
Manning
or
might
whenever
go
he's,
there.
Is this
he's
real? Is it? They're hosting a Russell Wilson visit. The Giants.
Oh,
Maybe
no
Russell Wilson's gone then. Is he
shit,
off
if
the?
he, dude,
is
if he
he's
goes there,
gone?
then I would change my Rodgers pick.
I
to
thought he
Steelers
still had
if he's
time on
gone.
his contract in the Steelers. He's on a visit with him. That means he's
Dude, he's on that ridiculous contract though, like 40 million a year, 30 something million.
We're
a
hosting
year.
a visit with Russell Wilson. Beep, 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 beep.
it's not good. Yeah. I mean, just imagine being like one of these season ticket sales reps for like the Browns. I guess the Browns are a pretty like rabid fan base, so that might not be that bad. But like one of these teams that's out there, like the Jags or some shit, you're like, so season
Another year of the
tickets,
Pits, guys.
You think that's what everybody was saying about us when we were like, "Whoa, we're Brody Croyle," or
Oh,
like,
dude,
"Oh,
no,
yeah.
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Colt
100%.
McCoy."
shit, dude. I remember when Brady Quinn came here, and I was like, "Hey, man, he's a former number 1 first overall pick. Okay, he's got a chance. Give him a chance." I was fucking that
Dude,
guy. I ain't hating,
I was that guy
man.
too.
I've been
Oh
there.
man, better watch out for these running backs we got. Sharkhandrick West is gonna run over the league.
Right? Yeah, no.
Scott's
Sharkhandrick
been
West is
there
a
like,
hell of a
yeah,
fucking
I
fantasy
don't know. He
football.
could be the guy. Hey, hon, what was that telegraph that came through?
Right? Yeah. No, look, man. Look, here's the deal.
From the Chiefs, they're letting you know they're going to win 2 games this year.
Right? Like, we've been there. We've been at the bottom,
Yeah.
and now we're on the top. And we're back. It's the new year, ready to go back. Our Chiefs still on. I mean, yeah, the Eagles, they did win the Super Bowl, but like dynasty ain't over yet. Dynasty don't die just because you like lose one Super Bowl. Like they got a chance. They're gonna come back and be fucking good next year.
Now we can go for the undefeated season now that we don't have to worry about the 3-peat.
Right. Now we don't have to worry about the 3-peat.
should
We
focus
can
on
focus on the undefeated season. So been a lot of fun doing this after a couple weeks off. I missed it. Good seeing you guys.
Definitely.
As always, to everybody in the chat. Really good seeing everybody.
Yeah,
really,
thank you guys
really
for coming by.
appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Help spread the word. We're gonna be back Wednesday nights. We got the draft coming up. Man, there's draft, and then
Combine.
you'll be like, Combine was last week, is that right? And then we got draft coming up.
Yeah.
And then you'll be talking about like rookie OTAs, and then you'll be talking about fucking training camp, and then saying the season opener, baby, it's right around the corner. 6 months away, right at this point. That's not that long, really. It's crazy how short the off seasons are when you go to the Super Bowl every year.
It's crazy how long Sundays are when football's over, though.
No, that's true. That too, man.
Do shift for like 5-6 hours, and then like I get back home and it's like 1 in the afternoon. Like, how am I going to fill up the rest of this day?
Yeah, I guess I'll take a nap or a drink or something.
Nap.
So, right, exactly. But a lot of fun getting back on here. We missed y'all and can't thank you enough for popping back in and showing back up. We're not going nowhere. We ain't quitting on this thing. So probably what date is the draft? April what?
I don't know.
April, is it 3 weeks away? Is it full 4 weeks away at
What
this
date
point?
is the NFL draft?
April
24th.
April 24th. So yeah, a little over a month. There'll be more moves, and there'll be plenty to talk about. So we'll be here on Wednesdays for the most part, and definitely until at least the draft. And looking forward to that schedule release show, man. The home opponents, dude. The Chiefs schedule this year. It's gonna be sick, man. It's gonna be awesome. So looking forward to that.
We'll save it for that show.
Can't thank you enough for y'all jumping in here. Bo, Nick, as always, pleasure seeing you, gentlemen. Had a lot of fun. Until next time, let's go Chiefs.
Let's go Chiefs.